Coming to you from 6,224 feet in Castle Rock, Colorado.
This is Inside Castle Rock.
I'm Chris Tuchillo, hospitality trainer, leadership and presentation coach, and a local resident the past 2 years.
I'm Brian Cowdery, a professional real estate agent, and I've lived in town for over a decade.
Check out our latest episode as we welcome you inside Castle Rock. I'm really excited.
I am too.
I'm really excited. This is an episode that we've been talking about for a long time.
Yes.
And it was something that we talked about when we first started doing the podcast. We said at some point we want to do an episode that's kind of a check-in, kind of a just us.
Right.
Which is funny because in all these conversations that we have so many other people that are part of the conversation. But we wanted one that was a chance for it to just be us and to talk to things. We have a list of different topics that we want to talk about on the show today.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first thing we really wanted to start with is kind of a reflection on what it's been like doing a podcast over the last 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yes.
Absolutely
totally.
wild.
From when we first started and we had this crazy idea I had no idea what we're doing. Really, I feel like we've come a long ways, to be honest. Like we're doing it. We're getting better every time. And I think it's just been a really fun journey.
Well, I would make a very strong argument that we still don't know what we're doing, but we've leaned into the fact that that's
True.
okay.
Yes,
We've
exactly.
leaned into the fact that that's okay. I'll tie it back to, I was meeting with a client who's not a new client, but we're doing new work together.
Uh-huh.
And I said yesterday, and we're getting this particular client, helping him prep for a big interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how was this? Was it what you expected? And he said, I've known you now for like 2.5 years. He said, this is the most uncomfortable I've been in life in a really long time.
Mm.
And my response was good.
Yeah.
And he laughed. He goes, no, you're right.
Yeah.
It's that idea with it's okay to be uncomfortable with stuff.
100%.
And we talked about how you can like cry or anger your way through it.
Right.
Or you can laugh.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the sort of trials and trepidations that we've had in learning what it's like to do a podcast, I think you and I have laughed our way through it.
Yeah. 100%.
And we've been so fortunate to have some guests that have laughed with us.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about episode number 1, because I don't think people know this. Episode number 1, great friends of ours, Tim and Katie Haverstick.
This is when we really knew what we were doing. We had it all figured out.
We were sure that we did.
Yes.
So
we said, how hard could this be?
We didn't own these very nice microphone
right.
sets. Shout out to our friends with the Homeowners Podcast down in Texas. Craig sent me a link and said, you have to buy these mics. He's like, this will be the biggest upgrade until you do a video upgrade, right?
Yes.
From your
You're
phones.
like, what do you mean? Our $20 mics aren't going to be good enough?
So we ran the podcast from those mics that we already had.
Yeah.
You had a set of 2. I had a set of 2.
Yep.
Nowhere did we bother to think these are not going to sync up audio and video wise.
Right.
So not only did they not sync, but the first shoot of the first episode, tell them what happened.
Oh, what? My phone cut out. I don't even know. What was it? 10 minutes or
5
something?
minutes.
5 minutes into it.
Yeah.
So all we had was, it actually picked up audio from everybody.
Yep.
Your mics did, I think. But all we ever had was shots of you and I and not our guests the whole time. And it was an incredible conversation. It was like an hour long.
Yes.
Of just you and I talking and 2 other people that nobody could see.
So two things about it I think that I really remember that were awesome from that. I was just talking to Tim and Katie the other day, and we were remembering this. Number 1 was we hadn't told Katie that it was a video podcast.
Oh, that's the other thing.
So she showed up in a t-shirt. Oh, she always looks put together.
Oh, it was fine.
But she was like, I would have dressed cute.
Right.
So she was so glad that it didn't work.
Yes.
And number 2 is they're just such lovely people.
Right.
So when we basically said, hey, we need to shoot this again next week. They looked at each other, looked back at us and said, okay.
All right, let's do it.
And that was so incredibly generous of them with their time. I think it was because it was in the winter when their business isn't as busy.
Yeah, it was a little bit slower.
So, and if it was summertime, I think they would have told us where the door was.
Totally. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
So that was kind of our episode 1.
Yeah.
Episode 2, we filled our bellies.
Oh my goodness.
We went to Crave. Yes. We connected with Aletha. Yeah. The team there was so amazing.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah.
We didn't ask for a free lunch. She bought our lunch, which we never expected to do, and certainly don't take for granted. That was awesome.
100%. Yeah.
And had a great meal.
And Matt Mars came out to help us get some angles, figure out how to take some good B-roll footage. That was phenomenal. We've been using that every episode since, which is really cool.
I think we have. Not only that, I also think that there's just that generosity of people with skills that are willing to share that.
Totally.
And not with like, hey, here's your invoice.
Yes.
It was just because Matt's a good dude.
No, he just showed up.
Just a good dude.
Kind of helped us get set up, figure out our angles better, things like that. And that was a challenging spot because we were in a booth, literally in the corner. And
cameras propped up in weird places,
using
tripods.
Napkin holders and all kinds of stuff.
I think at some point I may have at the beginning said a little prayer, and I was like, God, please don't let the camera fall over during the way we had everything wedged.
Yes,
but it was great. It was a really great conversation.
Yeah, Aletha was phenomenal. Her staff was phenomenal.
I love that. When I go back in there really now, if she sees me, the first thing she does is gives me a hug.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I feel like one of our goals was to really kind of not only create awareness for businesses and people in Castle Rock, but also to create our own relationships.
Totally.
And I love that as I've interacted with these folks post podcast, it's really just created a sense of like understanding and like shared experience. It's been really cool.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's been really just overall getting to get to know all of our guests, but then to have that relationship be built off the podcast is a huge bonus for everything we've been doing so far.
And, then we rolled through a couple more episodes, right? We had Hunter Burns with Castle Rock Film Festival. They've already been accepting applications.
That was so fun. Yep.
That was fun.
Sun's shining in our eyes.
Outdoor shoot.
A couple margaritas, that helped.
Getting blasted by sun.
Hunter was hilarious.
He was so much fun. Yeah. So much fun, so laid back.
Loved it.
Probably because he was normally just waking up at that time because he works typically a lot of overnights. Yeah. So that was a great conversation.
He's like, we just woke up. We're like, it's like 1 o'clock.
and a challenging location, which I think will lead us to why are we here?
Yes.
Why are we here?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Then it was Michael Connors. Connors, awesome conversation, amazing organization. The work that Michael does for vets, providing them with these service animals, and these vets who have given some of the best years and parts of their lives and their bodies in service of our country.
100%. That was so fun. I went back and watched that episode with my family, and it was just, I couldn't stop watching it. I thought it was really, really cool. So, and we have to shout out Bucket List Tavern.
Joel was so cool.
Having Joel let us do that on the back patio was phenomenal.
Again, we asked, and he was like, "Of course."
Yeah.
Somehow we kept Justin Conkey out of the screen and kept him in the bar.
Finally, yep.
Kept him in the bar. He looked outside. He was worried I'd give him a hug, so he stayed far away.
Yeah.
And then that rolled into 2 amazing local artists, Abby Romer and Matt Rinn.
Yes.
We filmed in their home, which was also their shared studio.
Yep. Also kind of a museum at the same time. Cool. Yeah. It was really cool.
Really cool conversation. Definitely. That one just dropped a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And then it will already be out when we do this. We're dropping it, I think, this weekend or next week. But then an upcoming episode that people will have seen, which is with Ernest Smith and Johnny Sharp from Front Range Christian Church, which is our church.
It's our church.
Those are our pastors
100%.
and our friends.
And friends, too, at the same time. Yeah.
So that was our longest episode.
It was a really long... It went like that, and
Fast.
we already set up, or we haven't set up, but we want to do a part 2 to that because
there was more to the conversation.
Such a good conversation around it.
More to the conversation.
One other big shout out is April Fallon from Adoption Now. She's been doing that podcast, a good friend of ours, and we met with her too.
Yeah,
and she helped us figure out, okay, what are you doing? Like, how are you gonna get the podcast out there? What your rhythm's gonna look like? What's your purpose, intentions? She helped us think through a lot of things too that. Again, we thought we had thought through, and but the tools we needed, right, and to be able to distribute and everything, that was phenomenal. Like that was a huge piece of it too, because before we were just making it up.
I was just we were gonna publish the video, and I was just gonna text everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's how it's done. We've learned that.
Is there like a text all? For
I
the
know.
world?
Is there like text the world? You're getting weird responses back from people, like the one I just got. They want to offer me like a remote job.
Totally.
So strange.
Yes.
So also a shout out to your friend, April. I don't remember her last name.
Yeah, April Wertheimer. So she is with Adoption Now podcast. She's been doing it for years. And I think it was even before we shot our first or second episode, she met with us and helped us really think through so many things that we didn't even have an idea. Like, what's our rhythm going to be? What's our intention? Who's our audience? how are we going to distribute this? And she gave us some great suggestions for tools that we were able to look at to be able to get the audio out, get the video out. So that was incredibly helpful too, I think, to have somebody who's experienced to just help us think through some things that we just didn't even know to ask the question about, you know?
What I loved also about that conversation with April was there was things that we asked about and she said, oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not there yet.
That's true.
And there was some of that stuff I think we'd done our own research and created a list of questions. And it was so nice to have somebody say, hey, kind of like, I get where you're thinking or where you're going.
Right.
You're kind of 7 steps
It's
ahead.
too much.
Let's learn to crawl before we're sprinting.
Totally.
Which was great because it gave us at that point less things we had to worry about.
100%.
Which is really nice.
And we quickly learned that the process to get a podcast out is a lot more complicated than we thought.
Yeah.
You know, and so to know that we didn't have to do it all and there's some simple steps we could take just to get started, that was huge.
You know, some of the things we intended to do at the start of the podcast where we had this idea that we would always have like a unique signature beverage, not even signature because it changed, but a unique beverage from within Castle Rock.
From somewhere in town, yeah.
That is a giant pain in the ass. So what I have in my mug right now, this is my favorite mug. It's from Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
And I love this mug. And what's in here right now is hot water because I already had a cup of coffee this morning and I don't need to get all jittery. The idea of having a different drink every time just proved to be more frustrating than it was bringing value.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to tell you, if I'm drinking coffee in my house or out, it's probably from Cough 33 or Lost Coffee. And what's so fun about that is Cough 33 gets their beans from Lost Coffee. They roast as well.
Right.
So it's probably from one of those 2 coffee shops.
Yeah.
Also love the vibe when I go into Crowfoot, which is Mayor Jason Gray's coffee shop.
Yep.
And I'm meeting some clients that I'm working on with a new project this afternoon. And we're going to meet at Black Rock, which is, again, a chain.
Yeah.
But it's here in our community. And you see people there all the time working and connecting. People are in there doing Bible studies.
Yeah.
So what we're doing from a beverage perspective, it doesn't really matter. And
BYOB.
Yeah. What do you BYOB in?
So we have an espresso machine and I have beans from Sam's Club. They're generic Colombian beans.
I love that. Oh,
but it tastes
they're
great.
imported.
Yes.
Okay, that's right.
Yes, right.
Now we're also meeting in some place that's a bit unique.
Yes. So
this is a new podcast studio that we invested in.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my basement.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's my basement.
Yes.
We thought the concrete gave a bit of a cool industrial feel.
Right.
Shout out to my wife, Jen, the Reckless Turtle, a local artist.
This is so cool.
She does not do normally print as her medium, but she had our logo blown up and framed so that we could kind of have that as a cool little touch point.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we set up this space that was kind of being used for storage in our basement to create a place where you and I didn't have to move because moving the podcast every time was also a pain in the ass.
A lot of challenges, like where we're going to set up power, Wi-Fi, where we're going to set up cameras, where we're going to set up lights. Do we have lights to set up? You know, furniture, right? Yeah. And all those things every time was a big unknown for us. And while it was fun, and we'll probably still do it, you know, go and do some off-site locations, you know, around town to still keep that part of it that we wanted.
Yep.
But we felt this allows us more to focus on what our true intention was, right? Is the people of Castle Rock.
Yep.
So
one of the things that we had said we wanted to do in this episode was talk a little bit about our businesses. You and I both have a lot going on and a lot that we love to share. And as we learned with our friends at Connecting Over Coffee, right, we both love to talk.
100%.
So in 60 seconds, what exactly is it that you do? Because we really haven't talked to you all about what we do in our own businesses.
Right.
So what is it that you do? Do that, and then I'll tell a little bit about kind of what I do.
Totally.
And I'll time us.
Okay. I have another 30 minutes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. One of the things, so I used to be an engineer for a long time, right?
With Lockheed
Martin.
Yeah, don't play it
for
down.
17 years, yeah. So I had my engineering degree from CU Boulder, electrical and computer engineering. Then I got my systems engineering master's through University of Denver. But I'd always wanted to do my own thing and have my own business. You know, Lockheed was a great company.
Oh, yeah.
But I just always had this like desire inside of me to do something else. And real estate has always been one of those things. I call it like a knack, or just came natural to me, you know, just like for you and your speaking and things like that, how your personality, you're made for that. And so real estate is I've just loved it. I've always read real estate books and about investing. We have our own investment properties. And so that's really what I wanted to do, is get into the real estate business, but not just to make money and just to have transactions and, you know, what some people will see is like, oh, real estate agents make a lot of money. Must be easy. It's easy to get into. I'm going to do that.
People always think that's
They always think that. But what I wanted, and that's okay, they just don't know. But my whole thing was, and you'll see it on my tagline on my website, my business card, whatever, is real estate with purpose, and really, how do we leverage real estate and how do we use it to not only make sure it's enhancing people's lives and that we're being intentional about everything we do. So if somebody's looking for a home, that's one of my first things I always say is I want to be very intentional when you buy something.
Yeah.
Let's not just think about your bed, bath, square footage. What are you going to use the home for? What's your lifestyle? How are you, if you want to have it be of service to somebody else or rent it out to maybe somebody. I mean, I've had people be like, hey, I just want to rent my basement to single moms.
Cool.
And I was like, that's amazing. Like, let's find a place that'll fit that and your lifestyle and we can make it work. And so, but also long-term investment. And then how can we use it to then make an impact on other people's lives?
Yeah.
And so that's that piece of it. And on the selling side, I say like sell meaningfully. Like, how do we make sure we're selling in a way that is going to, obviously we always want to get everybody the most amount of money out of their house. That's, that makes sense. But there's more to it than that. How do we make sure that when we sell, we transition you into it, wherever you're going to move next, that all of that goes really well for you, and so that you can fulfill whatever that next step is in your life or purpose or whatever you're looking to do. And the last thing is investing powerfully. That is, how do we use real estate for long-term wealth? Yes, but also long-term impact in other people's lives. And so for me, that's really like why I wanted to start this, is not just for real estate to just be about, okay, let's get my home sold, let's go buy a house, let's move in and call it good, but there's more meaning behind it and purpose, and helping people through that. Let's be honest, it's a stressful time, right? So how do we reduce the friction, make it less stressful and meaningful? And that was my goal of starting this business.
Nice.
And being able to do that. Yeah. And it's just really cool because that looks so different in so many people's lives, right? You get somebody's buying their home for the first time. I absolutely love it because I get to walk them through, here's everything that's coming. I'm always 2 steps ahead. I've got your back on everything. Yeah. And everyone's always, you can never remove the stress, but you can help them feel confident about their decisions and understand the more clarity you have and helping them go, look, we're going to be okay. This is normal. This is going to be fine. And we get to the other side of it and you just see them like feel so good about the decisions they've made, and being able to guide them along the way and not force them into doing something. It's just been really cool. So all that to say, like, I just see real estate and the way that I've structured my business is a way to serve people. And that's kind of my ministry to them. I pray for all my clients. I make sure like, we have a whole team that we walk alongside them. I'm always checking in with them every week. And it just feels, and just make it feel like they're not just another cog in the wheel of another transaction, but like I care and we're going to help them get where they want to be.
First of all, there's purpose in that.
Yeah.
Was that longer than 60 seconds? Absolutely.
I mean,
no. But what you covered is important.
Yeah.
And the thing that kind of the overarching word that I kept sort of hearing in my mind as you were sharing that was there's a lot of hospitality in what you do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's interesting about hospitality, right? That's obviously my space, but what's interesting about hospitality is 2 things. Number one is I think more businesses need hospitality in what they're doing. Otherwise, it is absolutely, without question, becomes transactional.
Totally.
The second piece is when you create really great hospitality, like when you go stay at a really wonderful hotel, you kind of feel like somebody's alongside you.
Yeah.
They're like, when a problem arises, they make you realize that the problem's not that big of a deal. One of the best service experiences I've ever had was my wife and I, the first time we stayed at the Broadmoor down in Colorado Springs. And people have asked me, oh gosh, what's it like to stay there? And I said, you just feel cared for. It's a massive property. It can be really overwhelming. If they didn't have someone take you to your room, you wouldn't find it. But from the moment you kind of check in at the gate, come through, they take your bags, that whole process of the front desk, there's always someone there that's like, hey, we're alongside you. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yes, do those people hope for a nice warm handshake of gratuity? Sure. But you're excited to give it to them because they've actually provided a service, as opposed to like I just stood here in the corner chewing gum and then I stuck my hand out.
You feel obligated.
Where's the money? But you want to give them that warm handshake. You want to give them a gratuity because they've really kind of taken care of you so that you can then be relaxed and enjoy the experience 1-2 nights a week, however long you're staying. I think we stayed for 2 nights.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, what I do is interesting. For the longest time, Jen used to tell everybody that I trick-or-treated for work. And I love telling people that because it's true, because I'm not just a one-trick pony.
This is new to me. I haven't heard this.
Yeah, I don't know if I shared it with you before, but Jen used to tell people, Chris trick-or-treats for work. There's a few different things that I do. Within Tricord Consulting, which is my small business, our small business. My wife's upstairs, referencing God. My wife's upstairs. So we're
both up there.
Correct. So we do work together.
Yeah.
We do work where we help people with their presentation and speaker skills. We're coaches in that. There's a firm based out of Dallas that we do that work with. And then we also do that on our own with clients that are outside of the pharmaceutical space. There's more and more need for that inside of hospitality. And we love helping and supporting people with that.
Sense, yeah.
I've had a chance to partner with some amazing local dads that I've met through Dads at Castle Rock, helping them get ready for a big presentation or sales pitch. And I love when we come out of that, they go do the work that they're going to do. And then they report back, or I check in and they're like, oh my gosh, it went so much better than I thought it would have.
Yeah.
There's just something amazing about being able to help people prepare for that. In addition to that, I do sort of in that coaching realm, I do one-on-one coaching. Mm-hmm. That's with leaders in industry as well as small business owners. Used to assume it was going to stay in hospitality because that's my background, but it has encompassed people that are general contractors, people that own their own businesses, people that are tax professionals, people that are financial advisors. It's really creating an objective voice of questions, in inducing some great conversation, but also helping them develop some real self-accountability. It's not the coach checking in and saying, hey, did you do the thing you said you wanted to do?
Right.
It's really about, hey, you said this was important. How did it go?
Yeah.
And if it went great, let's celebrate that. And if it didn't, what didn't make it great, or what got in the way?
Yeah.
And then how can we learn? And then is it appropriate to maybe kick the can for the next week or 2 weeks? Or have we decided that this thing isn't as powerful or important as we thought it was?
Just get self-awareness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I also travel around. I work with a lot of private country clubs, hotels, resorts, restaurant groups, and I do hospitality training where I go in and I help them with the basics, the fundamentals of hospitality. Those programs are anywhere from 1 day to, I have one that I'm doing in February next year where I'll be there for 2 full weeks.
Wow.
Kind of getting them opened really, really well.
Yeah.
And that includes everything from classroom training, role playing, and work with the leadership team to make sure that everybody leading that team is on the same page with what great leadership looks like.
That's amazing.
The other piece of my business that I've had some real fun growing this past year is I do keynote speaking. And so I'm trying to really lean into the fact that I have some just some great experience in hospitality.
Totally.
And I have, more importantly, I have something to share.
Yeah.
Because I think people say, oh, it'd be great to be a speaker. And I was like, what do you want to talk about? And I've got a couple of really wonderful topics. Some of them are actually around what does it look like to be a great speaker and how you present yourself and your message with impact. Another one is about kind of ditching technology and really investing in people.
Gotcha.
And then I'm working on another program now that kind of speaks to why sort of the speed, fast or slow, of injecting hospitality into your business and your customer base can really be really impactful, not just for the end user customer, but also for the people delivering that experience. And they understand that it may be a car repair shop or an oil change shop. There's still hospitality involved in there. Yeah. That's what brings people back.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of in a nutshell.
What I think I love about you're built for this. Like, anybody who meets you knows, like, everything you just talked about, this is what you should be doing in your life. You know what I mean? That this is, you put in the work, but not only that, your personality matches it, everything. And I think what I've always loved about it, it's very different, but it's all the same at the same time, you know, and there's a lot of crossover, you know, as you're going through all that. And so I'd love to go back to the coaching part of it, because one thing I've always been curious to ask you, and I figure we might as well do it on camera so everybody can hear, but when you're coaching, I mean, I think people confuse that with counseling a lot of times, right? Or therapy or things like that. I don't think you are a therapist or prescribe any drugs or anything like that. But what is it about coaching that's so unique and different? And then why did you choose that to add into your repertoire, however you say that word, you know, of hospitality and hosting and all that?
I started coaching because somebody asked me to be their coach.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Really dear friend of mine. Her name's Amy Schuster, and I don't normally share my clients' names, but Amy has said, "Do you tell anybody that you want about the fact that
That's
the impact
awesome.
you've made on my life, my work, but also in the fact that I'm very honored in the fact that I began coaching because Amy had gotten this really big job, was in it a couple of weeks, and called me and said, "Hey, the job's a little bigger than I thought it was. I'm going to be fine, but I'd love to hire you as a coach." And my response was, "I'm not a coach."
Right.
And she said, really important word. She said, "Yes, you are. You just don't know it yet." So through that, I started coaching Amy. Probably coached her for about a year, and then I said, "Oh, you can take coaching classes to be better at this, to be a professional coach."
Yeah.
So a connection of mine who's become a friend, guy by the name of Darren Canthal. He has a coaching practice called the Canthal Group with his partner Rachel. And Darren and I sat down over breakfast. He walked me through kind of the process he went through, which is through a company called CTI, which is the Coactive Training Institute. And coaching is a thought exercise. So yes, a lot of like the way that counselors and therapists do, I am spending a lot of time listening. But I'm also spending time trying to figure out what questions I can ask that allow somebody to really, in coaching, they call it dance in the moment. That always feels like very hippie language to me, which is not how I speak.
Like you feel the flowers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's really about meeting a client where they are and trying to understand, what do they want to grow in? What is it that they are trying to solve for? I have clients I know that work for other companies, and one of their like deepest desires is to have their own business. And they'll be really candid and say things like, "I don't need to make a gajillion dollars. I'd like to be able to replace the income that I make now, but I want to work for myself. I want to be the steward of my own time and be able to make decisions on that." And how I spend that time. And they recognize that it's a lot of work that requires going into it. Other folks that I've coached, people that already have their own businesses, they're looking for somebody to help them develop self-accountability. I've had clients that the self-accountability they want to develop is they will find themselves getting really frustrated with customers, and they want to be kinder, and they want to learn to kind of lean into almost more of a gentleness.
Yeah.
And after working with a particular client of mine for about a year, he'd said, "These things that we're talking about now would have just lit me up before." And he said, "I found a way now to just kind of lean into understanding, giving them the benefit of the doubt, not being a doormat."
Sure.
So coaching is really about asking a lot of questions to see, is somebody on a track? Is somebody on a course that's really fulfilling what's in their deepest desires in their heart? And if not, try to give them the courage to say, well, what would that look like?
Yeah.
And so a lot of these questions, they're very open-ended, but they're designed to generate ideation, conversation, innovation, dreaming. And I had a client that I was working with, transitioned from one industry to another, was opening a small business, and then finally realized one day that they didn't want to operate a small business. It was like a huge revelation for them.
Yeah.
But they said, "I don't think I would have figured that out if I hadn't gone through this process of coaching."
Yeah.
And so they ended up going and working for a big company. And I'm still in touch with this client.
Happier.
And they were like, "This actually is a really good fit for me.
Awesome.
Maybe not forever."
Right.
They said, "But for now, like I didn't need the stress of starting a new business right then." And I just love that I get to be a part of these conversations.
Yeah.
I had a client text me last week and say, through some coaching that we did on a specific topic, they said, "I don't know what I expected to get out of coaching, but the conversation that we had that led to an interaction with a boss," they said that right there was so valuable. And I was beaming when I got that text.
It's probably the best feeling in the world, I gotta imagine, when
It's
you
really
help somebody get a breakthrough. And so I had a coach before we met. His name is Greg, and this is before I got into back into real estate, and I was still at Lockheed. And I was like, what do you mean coaching? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't need a life coach. I always thought that was kind of weird, but after we did it for a while, he helped me for about a year. But I loved about it it's like I said, it's not therapy, it's not counseling. You know what I mean? It is helping you get a different perspective. I felt, and get out of something you feel stuck in, but then really figure out, is this, like you said, is this really what you want, or what are you really wanting? Because I think we know what we want a lot of times, then we don't, you know, and
we're also surrounded by people, family and friends,
yeah,
who many times they aren't doing it on purpose, but they want to make us feel good.
sure.
And so they keep kind of saying yes or encouraging us. And a coach's job is to be objective and sort of call out some of the BS.
Yeah.
And be like, well, you felt very differently about that last week, or you said this is important. Why is it? No, tell me, why is it not important now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm lazy. It's too much work. Okay, that's a different answer.
Yeah, 100%.
And
it's
but
okay.
Our job is to challenge. Our job is to be able to challenge clients on that too. And ultimately, it's their decision. But you get to be an objective voice that doesn't need to just be like, oh, I want to make you feel good.
Right.
We have enough people. Most of us have enough people in our
100%.
life that want to make us feel good.
Yeah. If you can get someone who can just cut through that. One of the things, and I'll just share the short story, is that he helped me at the time, and I'm sure you're doing similar things, but he said, just tell me about your life and tell me what are the just things that you've always done. I thought that was an interesting question.
Yeah.
You know, so I did. It turns out my wife and I, we'd always had businesses we'd started, always read about real estate, always we did investing, you know, just always something. Even when we tried to stop, it leaked out of us. Like it came back, like it leaked out of me. And then I've always been in ministry. I've always, you know, I was a youth pastor at one point. I've always volunteered at churches. I've loved volunteering in different positions around the church, mission trips, all this stuff. So he's like, so businesses have always come out. Like it's always been something, ministry and real estate. And he's like, what if that's your purpose?
Yeah. Because
it's like you almost can't help it. It just keeps coming.
It happens.
It happens no matter what. That was a big aha for me. That was a big like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like I thought they were hobbies.
Hard to see that.
I thought they were just fun things I did.
It's you know what I mean? A coach helps you kind of connect those things together and realize that there's a lot more purpose in your life than you realized.
Right. Yeah.
It's like they're dying to get out.
Yeah.
Well, my wife's an artist, and so Jen just can't help but be creative.
Right.
And she's creative and she's very helpful. And so when we were talking about filming the episode down here, you know, she was like, by the way, I went to the store and I had the logo printed off and I got a frame for it and hang up in there. And I was like, great.
Awesome.
And she knew she didn't have to ask. Because
you and I would have never.
No, she knew she didn't have to ask permission to do that.
Right.
But it's also just her inherent like creative way of doing things.
Yeah.
And even the way that we were going to hang it up, you know, which we did, you know, months ago. Nope, we did this morning. She knew exactly how she wanted to do it. And I could just jump in, even though it was for us. I took direction in that because she knew how she wanted to do it in a way that would, you know, that would showcase really well down here in this, you know, cement basement.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
You know, a few of the things that we had on the list, and let's not have these, we don't want these to take too long, but basically we wanted to talk about things that are coming up in Castle Rock that we're excited about. Had some dates that we'd written down of things we wanted to share. But what's one thing about the future of the podcast that you're excited about?
I am very excited to branch out. And you know what? I think something that I love that we've simplified because I think it's going to help us be able to do this better and get more episodes out. We realize there's some logistics issues around all that, but I'm really excited to start having people on that I don't know very well, you know? And I think just learning more about us, but then sharing kind of some hidden gems, hidden people that maybe don't get a lot of, aren't in the spotlight a lot of times. I think it'd be really cool to bring them in. So I'm very excited about that. Super excited to continue that we've gotten this far. You know, we've worked through a lot that we can now start just being more consistent in what we're doing. And and just being able to also, we talked about getting more feedback from anybody who's watching about if you know, there's people that we don't know that you think might be good to be on here.
Oh, especially like with our Facebook page or Instagram. If there's someone in the Castle Rock community that you want to hear from, we would or you'd love us to have on as a guest. We would love you to just make a comment about that in the feed somewhere.
Totally.
And that's something that we can look into. The important thing for us is that this show continues to be about our community. And there are so many people in this community that we don't know.
Right.
So to Brian's point, if there's somebody that you want to see, or if you want to be on the episode, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot. But if there's someone that wants to be on the show or that you think would make an interesting guest, drop it in the comments. If you have our contact information, because some of you have our cell phones or emails, shoot us a note. But you can always reach us through the, you know, our social media channels. Facebook's probably a really great way to do that as well as our Instagram page.
Definitely.
You know, the thing I'm really excited about for the future of the podcast, it sounds selfish because it's my basement, but I'm really excited about centralizing and standardizing the where. I have no qualms about inviting people into my home to do that. one of the things that you and I talked about as we discussed this idea of having whether it's always in this corner or somewhere in our home, is the idea that by not having to shift where we're going to be, obviously the logistics of setup become a little simpler. But also, I'm excited about just being comfortable in the space because it's not different every time.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the sun going to be coming in? We can kind of control some of that environmental stuff like light, wind, rain, temperature a little bit more. And for me, that's something that I'm really looking forward to in the future.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. And we're gonna this is gonna transform a little bit as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a hat from Tim Haverstick and his H2 business.
I love that.
Yeah, we want to have stuff that reminds us of past episodes too.
So we thought we were going to be able to tell you who our next guest was, unless they've texted me while we've been on the episode.
We're doing this. We haven't yet.
You know what I'll do? I'm going to check on my watch real quick because we have this great technology, and let's see if they wrote me back. I don't think they did.
Not yet. That's good. It could be a surprise.
Yeah, haven't heard back from them yet. That's okay. It'll be a surprise. We'll announce it as soon as we know. But we actually have a list of some different names of people that we want to have on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to begin building out our calendar of what the next several guests are going to look like through the end of the year and maybe into early 26.
Definitely.
A couple of happenings in Castle Rock that I'd written down. And actually, you know, I wanted to highlight this. This just comes in the mail from the city of Castle Rock.
We put that on our fridge every single time.
It's so great.
Yeah.
So I think it's called the Castle Rock like events calendar.
Yeah.
And they usually send one out for the summertime, spring and summer, and then they send this one out, which is for fall and winter. And this just came in last week. So a couple really cool things about it. It's got a whole list of some different, dates happening in September, October, November, and December, and then some of the recurring ones that happen. We highlighted a few things that we wanted to put on your list.
Yes.
So this episode will already be out, or won't be out in time to announce it.
Right.
But next weekend, which is the weekend of September, I think 5, 6, and 7, is Castle Rock Art Fest.
Oh yeah.
Great time to just walk through downtown Castle Rock, sample a little bit of food, get a coffee. Hopefully it's not scorching hot this year. Jen's not, but she is working at either the CRA or the Tri Arts Project booth. So she's pulling 2 hours of duty there, just talking about not just her art, everyone's art.
Everybody,
which is really, really fun.
That's a super cool event.
And I love seeing artists like usually Abby Romer's there, Matt Wren, a bunch of people from the Tri-County Arts Project are usually on display with booths.
Love it.
So
that'd be awesome.
This episode won't be out in time for it, but if you haven't been to the Castle Rock Art Festival, absolutely check it out. Very family friendly event, dog friendly event.
Right.
Don't bring like a emotional support llama though. Those are weird. I don't think we need that in the Castle Rock Art Fest.
Yes.
Other things we had on there, jumping over to end of September, is Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest is super fun.
So it's interesting. Everybody thinks Oktoberfest is in October.
Right.
In Germany, it's traditionally held the end of September.
Yep.
So Castle Rock, thank you for being on board with traditions.
That's right.
So I'm actually doing a coaching development class Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the day from like 7 to 3. So I'm hoping in the evening after the Saturday session's over that I can go down and check it out.
Yeah.
I've heard numbers like 50 or 60,000 people.
A lot of people
that come to Castle Rock for that event.
Yeah. When our church was downtown, we had the ministry center down there. We would hand things out like bottle openers.
Church keys.
All the time.
Yeah, they're called church keys. It's so cool.
Yeah, but it's so much fun. It's really cool.
Real blast.
Great event. Yeah.
We'll go
It
back
gets you in that fall spirit too, which I love.
Yeah, it really is kind of like a changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
And there's just great breweries in Castle Rock and around
Steins,
Colorado.
they have Steins every year that you can buy. Yep.
I may have to get one of those because I didn't know that. So I learned something even on my own podcast.
Totally.
I may want to get one of those.
I think they do a new one for every year.
Yes.
If I remember right.
All right, so I'm going to start at
Castle Rock
2025.
Stein. Yeah.
Making a commitment to do that.
Love it.
Till I see the price.
We'll have to bring it here.
Maybe not.
Well,
We'll have to see. So what else did we write down? There is kind of just interesting, if you're interested in sort of what's going on in the town, sort of politics, sort of what's happening in development projects. There's a state of the town meeting that's being held at the Cantrell School, which is actually being converted into like an education lab and art gallery.
Right.
And that's going to be on September 30th. Restaurant Week. I'm a restaurant guy. I didn't know Castle Rock did Restaurant Week.
Is this their first year?
I don't know.
Maybe it is.
So if you know the answer to that, is this the first year, please comment. So Restaurant Week is in downtown Castle Rock. It is October 5th through the 11th.
Is that kind of like everybody has their own special dish that you can go and like?
Usually it's a special like 2 or 3 course menu at a really reasonable price. And then they give a portion of that proceeds to, usually it's some sort of like a feed the community, feed the homeless type ministry.
I love it.
But I don't know what the details are. But it's at downtowncastlerock.com/restaurant week.
Perfect.
So go there to
We'll go
find
check
out
it
more.
out.
I'm going to do that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Halloween activities. Castle Rock does Halloween really well.
Yes.
So Halloween activities,
They do.
October. It's weird. We always do it before, even though
Right.
even though I think it would make more sense to do it the weekend after when it's that late in the week.
Right.
But it looks like it's running from October 18th through the 24th is kind of the community activities.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, October 31st is a chance to go and trick or treat
Yes.
with your kiddos.
Everywhere.
So we'll put a picture of this up on here. I sent a picture to you earlier today.
Yes, I was going to say, is that you?
So this is our family. We can zoom in on that.
My son goes, is that Chris? I was like, no, I don't think that's Chris.
It is. So my wife dressed up as French fries. Emma dressed up. It was a hot dog, but for some reason our daughter said she wanted to be a sausage for Halloween. I'll let you think what you think about that.
We'll move on.
And I was a giant hamburger. And
that's amazing.
And we walked
Where was
around.
that?
This was at the one at Philip Miller.
Oh, nice.
So they grabbed a great picture of our family, and now in the ad
You're
for
famous.
October 18th, Spooktacular
That's hilarious.
is the DiCillo family. So we're bringing a little bit of our fun to Castle Rock.
I love it.
And then the other two ones, I will be out of town for this one. There's a pie bake-off that I've heard is actually a ton of fun. November 8th, that's at Philip Miller at the complex. I'm going to call out my buddy, a guy that goes to our church, Cameron Ackley.
Uh-huh.
Cameron is a undercover baker extraordinaire.
Really? He's going to be part of that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm calling him out on the podcast because I think he needs to bake a cake or a pie. Obviously a pie because it's a pie contest, so there would be a cake contest.
Unless it's a pie, yeah.
But I think Cameron needs to bake something really special for that. Everything he's made and brought to our community group has just knocked everybody's socks off.
Phenomenal.
We had them over for dinner last weekend, and they said, "Can we bring anything?" And I was like, "Dessert." And he brought
the answer is always dessert.
Yummy key lime pie.
Oh, that's my favorite.
So it was really delicious, really delicious.
Amazing.
And then probably one of the biggest events, the last one that we'll kind of end on, is November 22nd.
Yes.
What's that?
The star lighting, the big event of the year.
Why do you love the star lighting so much?
I love the star lighting because one, we've gone every single year. So we moved to Castle Rock 2010. It is just something so nostalgic about, even though our town's growing and people, feel all kinds of ways about that.
Whatever. People will feel what they're going to feel.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the tradition of it is still small town. And what I really love about it is it's not, of all the changes that have happened in our world, that's honestly, I think, been one of the most consistent things here that a lot of people, it's almost been like a rock or a foundation for this town, and they do the same things every year. You can count on it. There's booths, of course, that's fun. But the way they do it, if you stand, we always try to get close to the stage because I think it's really special. They sing Christmas carols.
I love that corner of the city building facing the stage. I think that's cool.
So awesome. You get the Christmas carols, you get the military's there, you get pastors come that
they
pray.
Do a prayer.
They do a prayer.
I love that our community still does prayer and isn't apologizing about it.
Doesn't apologize for it.
It's crazy when you pray, even if you're not Christian, that prayer's still for you. It's just kind of wishing you well. It's just hoping that there's a blessing in your life.
To cover the whole town.
Pretty much.
Really cool. Yeah. There's also a star lighting poem that somebody wrote specifically about Castle Rock. Yep. So they read through that, which is really cool. Let's see, what is the other thing? Oh, and then they obviously light the star. We have a countdown. Santa gets up there, all that kind of stuff.
Booths and small businesses, and there's food.
And fireworks. They've added fireworks, which I think is pretty cool. But then what is really neat is they also sing Christmas carols, like Silent Night, every single year. And they hand out, battery operated candles. I don't know, every piece of it just makes it like Christmas is here, and it's just very comforting. Yeah. And so I think that's sometimes you're freezing and sometimes you're there in a t-shirt and jeans, it just depends on what's going on, for the weather, but either way, it's always worth it. It's always fun.
I was looking at it on the calendar and I thought to myself, and I'm going to tell you something that we're not going to do. I was like, Brian and I should go and live broadcast from down there. Yeah, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm out of town. So
and I'm not going to do it by myself.
Exactly. We have some really great friends that asked if we would all get together and go to an A&M game that happens to be in College Station the weekend, that same weekend.
Nice.
So we are really excited about doing that.
You while we're there.
We'll FaceTime while we're there. We'll be doing all the Aggie chants and stuff. Everybody have their rings on.
There you go.
But it really is a special event. If you haven't been in the star lighting, you can go and make it a tradition and then still have a life and be like, hey, we're out of town. Like that happens on certain things.
Yep.
But go experience what that thing is I think that Castle Rock has to offer
Yeah.
and start formulating those traditions. That doesn't make a difference what your family is. If your family is mom, dad, 2.5 kids, and a
We
dog.
haven't done every single one, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if that tradition
awesome.
is, if your family is a family of you, you're a family of one, treat yourself to being part of our community, part of our town, and that get a cup of hot cocoa and just lean into like the awesomeness that is the fact that it still is a growing community.
That's right.
But that event has a real small town feel.
It does. 100%.
I've really enjoyed.
This has been awesome.
I've really enjoyed the fact that we just got to do something with us.
Yeah.
And not have to give some freaking guest our attention. We love our guests, but it's just nice to sit down with somebody that's a really good friend and just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives and our businesses.
I love it. Absolutely. And also, we do want to say just a huge thank you to everybody who supported this, from guests to
our wives,
our family, anybody any of you have watched any portion of our short clips, our full episodes, shared them, support us. We forgot Taylor Ratliff, who created our logo. I mean, just amazing. So many people. And it just truly means a lot that you'd spend any time at all with us in these podcasts and these episodes as we figure this out together. But hope you've gotten some value out of it and enjoyed it. And we can't wait to keep going.
So we'll sign off kind of weird because we normally would say thanks to our guests. So I want to say thank you to Brian.
And thank you, Chris. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on another episode. Okay, great for you too, buddy.
Yep, absolutely. All right. See you guys next time.
Bye. That brings us to the end of another episode and a great conversation.
We hope you enjoyed getting to learn more about our community and the people of our town.
If you want to become a Castle Rock insider, all you have to do is like that video that you just watched and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We're also on all the social media channels. You can find us there or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time inside Castle Rock.